Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatronus speaking. I have a message for you today. I'm going to be talking about a past lifetime of mine that's kind of interesting. But before I get started with that, I want to show you some artwork from Catrin Skött. I'm going to put her website in my description so you can take a look for yourself. Oh gosh, where do I want to start? Where do I want to start? Okay. Let me see if I can even show these to you on here. Oh, I can't even get the whole thing on there. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go back so you can see the whole thing, but I want to get closer so you can really kind of take a look at this. I don't know if you can see, she's got this like gold detailing that she's put right in the center there. It's just insane. Look at that. I mean, this thing practically glows. So I just want to show you some of her artwork. If you haven't been to her website lately, you need to go. You need to check these out. She's got 3 of these black prints that I want to show you right now that are just like, they're just going to blow your mind. And these are the fine art prints, which are just like, you, if you get something of hers, you need to get the fine art print. I mean, just look at the way the colors are on this. You can see like the DNA strands that she's got going on here. Not only is her art breathtaking, man, and I feel bad because to be honest with you, this looks 1,000 times better in person. This looks really good on camera, but this is like a whole nother thing in person. Um, she's got I have to keep showing it to you guys. The energies she works with are at least 7D, and you can feel it on her work. I'm not sure if it's really picking up in this camera the way it does in person. Look at this one. So these ones are just some of my absolute favorites. Man, probably can't see it, but she's got the gold around that eye, and then she's got like a little red glitter dot above that eye. And her work is just, it's really the kind of artwork where you can just stare at it for a long time and look at all the details and pull in all the energy from it. But man, I just feel like when she draws eyes in her artwork, it really feels like she has drawn a portal. It just feels like there is energy coming into the space from somewhere else, and it's all very divine. I want to show you 2 of the pieces of hers that, and I don't even know what the name of these are. I should have checked. It's not on the artwork. But these are on her website if you're interested. Susan and I are working with Catrin right now. Susan and I are both working on different books, and we probably will be for a very long time. We are hoping to incorporate a lot of different pieces from Catrin. This is one of the pieces that she made since we all decided it would be a great idea to work together. And I want to show you one other piece. Oh, and there's actually another new piece that she's done that I don't have yet. But look at this. I mean, the colors and the geometry and the energy that she puts into these things is just outstanding. These would be gorgeous mat for a crystal grid. If you just have a couple quartz crystals and you just want to place them around, let her artwork do all the work, and you can just place some crystals on there and you've got something extraordinary because she already has the sacred geometry and the energy from the higher space involved. Check out the, let's see if you can, I'm trying to make it so you can see more of what's going on at the center of this, but honestly, my camera's just not going to show it. The the human eye, if you were to actually see this, she has gone through and like hand embellished different portions of this. So anyways, incredible work. So if you're interested, go check out her stuff. She's got a lot of new things on there. Um, the other thing I noticed when I went to Show the Love, Susan and I were on Show the Love's website recently, which is run by two women in the United States, Jen and Ari. It's a jewelry business. They have all kinds of jewelry for men and women, and 100% of their profits goes to charity. 100% of their profits goes to charity. These are light workers. These women, I do not know what they do to their jewelry. I'm wearing two different pieces of it, their stuff right now. Whatever they do to their jewelry, it is very high vibrational. I mean, how lucky are we that we live in a time where people are finally tuned into these higher dimensions and able to put that into their work in a way that the rest of us can start benefiting from that high vibrational information. That is hopefully what all of us get to do as light workers in different ways. But anyways, I went on their website and holy cow, they had like 100 new things. I don't even know, like, do these people ever sleep? Like, I don't know because they had so many new pieces on there that I'd never seen before that I was just like, how could they, I mean, you can get out maybe like 10 new pieces, right? Like, how do you get, like, they had so many. Anyways, if you haven't been there in a long time, go check it out because I guarantee you they have stuff on there that you've never seen from them before. Okay. Let me pull up my notes because what happened to me was that I had this name come into my head all of a sudden, and the name was Yi, like Yee, Yi. And I said it, like I heard it and I said it, and then I was like, who is this? Like, who, this is somebody important. Who is this? I know this name. Oh, now I have to scroll through all my other, there it is. So I had to ask who he was. And so let me tell you what happened. So I saw a light being. I saw like just an orb of light. They are 7D. 7D is where you can incarnate in 7D, but bodies are optional. You can also, if you are incarnated on a 7D planet, you can, if you know how, leave your body and go do stuff and then come back to the body later. Anyways, so he came as a light being. He was just a light. I can tell by his energy because I could feel his energy. I knew, I knew, I've been doing this long enough that as soon as I felt his energy, I was like, I love you. It's so funny because, you know, in the human world, you like get to know each other and you do all these things. In the energy world, you feel each other and you're like, oh, I know, I can't remember it, but I know him. I know you. So I was just like, I love you. um, he had aqua, hey, kind of like my clothes. He had aqua colors aiding off of him. And then he does this thing that I don't know if guides do this. Let me ask Metatron. Okay. I was going to say, I didn't know if this is something that guides do for everyone, and Metatron is saying no, so this is something he's doing for me. My guides, when they're brand new, they come in, they give me the love, so that I know them, and then they start flipping through the encyclopedia of their energy. So the next thing I felt was darkness. So it's almost like this vulnerability thing where he's just like, okay, just You can look at everything I have. I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm going to show you my light. I'm going to show you my dark. No surprises. So I feel his darkness. He is showing it to me so I understand the full scope of his energy. Even his darkness feels unthreatening, which is the case for all light beings. So, if you're dealing with a high vibrational energy, other than an archangel, because if you're dealing with an archangel or any kind of angel, it will always be only love. That's all they have. That's just all they have. But if you're dealing with like an ascended master, a god or goddess, a galactic entity, anybody who's 70 or higher, they have darkness. Absolutely. Everyone, we all have darkness. We come to get experience, which leads us to have both the dark and the light. So they can show you their darkness, but when they do, because they have so much light, because the darkness is, that's what it is. The darkness that remains in them is like residue. It's like experience and wisdom. So even their darkness feels good. If you do darkness from a dark being and they really don't have much love, or yeah, even if it's like 50-50, if it's like half light and half dark, it doesn't feel so good. It feels a little volatile. It feels a little unpredictable. It doesn't feel very good for me. But if I get to a being that's like, this is a light being, but they have lots of experience with darkness, it's like, oh, that feels nice. And it's really hard to explain. I wish I could like allow you guys to feel these things because it probably doesn't make much sense having me talk about it, but I try. Okay. I talked too much. I lost my place. Now I have to scroll back through my other stories. Okay, so Yi, even as darkness feels unthreatening, which is the case for all light beings, it adds depth, but not a lack of love. He is keeping, and so he showed me his darkness, and I was like, okay, cool, I saw your darkness, and then he was just like keeping it there for me, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's keeping his darkness at the forefront. And then so I started kind of like, this is hard to explain. He was showing off his darkness, and so I was kind of starting to explore it. I was like, oh, okay. And so it's like you start kind of feeling into the energy, looking into the energy to see what you can get from it. And so this is what I got. It's a lot of darkness, but it's clean. Its trauma has been processed. Its lessons that have been learned. So you can imagine later down the line when we have our, we all have darkness, when we learn to transcend the darkness into wisdom, when we get to that place in our soul's evolution, we probably do want to show off our darkness. We're like, hey, check it out. I have all this darkness, but you know what I did with it? I learned. I have wisdom now. Check out how clean this is. Like, that's probably how we're all going to be. We're going to be like, yeah, you can look at my darkness. That's fine. Come check. This is amazing darkness. So, okay, let's see what he says. Oh, I asked him because I'm used to tuning in at about 5D. I don't know why. I never talked to anybody in 60. I guess 60 is not very popular. It seemed to skip numbers for some reason a lot of the time. But anyways, if I talk to someone in 7D, I normally need like a helper. I normally need like Archangel Gabrielle, as I call her. Gabrielle. She appears female for me. So I asked Yi to tune our energies so I can hear them, so I can hear him. It might not work because he is at 7D. I see that Archangel Gabrielle is translating his 7D communication into a vibration low enough that I can receive it as a knowing. So it's like he's talking at 7D. Archangel Gabriel or Gabriel is like filtering his 7D and like dumbing it down into like 5D so that I can tune into it. I can feel, and so they start giving me equipment. They placed like a metal diamond shape on my forehead. So it's considered a divine implant because it's coming from a higher vibrational being. Uh, these kinds of implants you want, these are helpful. So they gave me this divine implant, and suddenly I could hear him. Thank goodness. And it was kind of weird. He chose like a really deep voice at first, and it was like almost too deep. And so I was just like, my guides do this thing. They think it's funny. They like to pretend that they're like very mysterious and there's like all these things I don't know about them, but it's like we really know each other a lot, but they're trying to like conceal it so I don't guess who they are right away. It's like this game they play with me. Um yeah. So I said, I know this formal charade. Each of my guides uses it before showing me who they are underneath. I feel his energy soften, and then he gives off power the way a god's energy does. It's like he's flipping through the many sides of his personality. He radiates gold light, and he feels like Feywanel, my like most favorite little spiritual energy over here that hangs out with me, um, but with darkness. Feywanel can't give me darkness because he's an angel, so this guy can. He is gently putting energy into my solar plexus. So, and this is another thing. If a guide knows me, they always touch my solar plexus or my feet. And I'm like, who are you? But, he was doing it nicely. So it wasn't, sometimes it's too much. He was like really gently putting energy in, like, hey, you got some wounds in there. We need to heal those. So, all this introduction, because I want to tell you this really ridiculous lifetime he showed me. So, I just want to warn you, this past lifetime is me and him as insects. I've had a lot of weird past lifetimes. Um, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen myself as an animal. I know I have, but in detail. I know my very first lifetime ever, I was a water dragon with Archangel Michael. Um, I just know that because I saw like snapshots of it. I don't have like a cool story to tell you about it or anything. And I know I've given you guys a flower fairy past lifetime with Archangel Michael, where he left me for another fairy, and I was heartbroken. Um, I don't think I get animal lifetimes very often. So, anyways, bear with me. This is entertaining, I'm sure. So, he shows me a lifetime where I looked like a lavender praying mantis, except we're about like probably this big. We're not like that big. Um, about the size of a banana. I'm laying, so this is so weird. Guys, I'm an insect, okay? This is an insect lifetime. Bear with me. I'm laying in our nest that is lined with leaves. He crawls, so he's like much bigger than me for some reason. Like the males are like, I don't know, like 3 times the size of the females. So I'm laying in the nest. He crawls on top of me, like on my back, and just like lays down, and that's like how we sleep. Okay. So that's how we slept. It's safe and dark here. It's warm and comfortable. There is a tiny hole at the top of our nest where sunlight comes in. So I crawl up to the light and I crawl out on this thin branch, and I'm like just in the sun, and I'm like so happy. I'm like, oh, the sun. I'm warming myself. This feels so good. It's so relaxing. Have this really good view from high above. It looks like, this is important. It looks like there is a domed palace made of glass in the distance. So this is relevant, and I'll talk about that later. Everything else I can see are treetops for miles. I think we were hibernating Back in the nest, he seems very still. He's not moving. I make the hole, because remember, it's just like a little teeny tiny hole at the top. So I'm making the hole bigger because I want the sunlight to come in and warm him up so that he can wake up. It will take him a few minutes to start moving. I decide to explore down the trunk of our tree. I see birds land near me, but they leave me alone. I'm looking for breakfast. Okay, and this is where it gets kind of gross, but it was like really entertaining. So there are these like, I don't know what they were. There's some kind of green bug, but they didn't have a hard shell. They were like squishy and like kind of transparent. So here's what I describe them as. So I say there are juicy green bug larvae is how I describe it. I'm not sure if it was larvae on the tree. They look like green water balloons, stretched thin with the sunlight showing through them. So apparently this is like what I like to eat. I grab as many as I can carry and walk back up to the nest. So I have a bunch of them with me, right? And I'm like walking along back up this tree trunk, gonna go back to my nest. And one of the larvae is like moving around and like being really disobedient. And so I eat him. I was just like, you're being a troublemaker. And I ate him. Um, yeah. So I'm excited to bring these to my partner. They are delicious. My partner is brown. So I'm lavender, he's brown. He is just starting to move. I hand him one of the larvae and he eats it quickly. That woke him up. So I give him half of what I found and we eat. Then we go in search of more food together. So he is larger than me and perhaps he is poisonous because other animals don't land anywhere near him. Like they would land near me, and they would just be like, okay, and they wouldn't try to eat me, but they don't even want to land near him. So he might be, I don't know. I don't know the history of these insects. Because they aren't, this is another planet, so it's not like praying mantises like we're used to, although it might be similar. He is large enough that I can walk under him at the same time that he is walking over me. I'm protected this way. I grab food from the floor. And so, like, just to give you an idea of this, so he's like over me, right? He's like ginormous. And I'm like grabbing food from down here where we're walking. And I will I will hand it up to his mouth. I'm like, here, have this snack. He grabs things higher up that are sometimes larger. And this is gross, but this is what I wrote. So he'll grab like larger things because he's bigger and he will like bite them into smaller pieces and give me the smaller pieces. I know, it's gross. I'm telling you guys. Anyways, I don't know why. It's kind of funny now. We are different with different strengths, and together we are very capable. When we have eggs, I attach them to his underside where they are protected and can travel with us. When they hatch, they hang upside down on him. So I'm like walking along, and if I like look up, my kids are all hanging upside down above me. Yeah. So they're safely being taken to and from. So I will just give them like whatever we're eating, I'll just pass them a little bite and they'll eat that. And then as they get older, they start getting braver and they can climb down and be where I am and grab something and eat it. So that's how they start learning to like catch their own food. Um, and so that's what happens until they are able to leave on their own. I spend that whole lifetime with him protecting me, and I'm so grateful for him. So this is fascinating. We have enough awareness in 7D that the insects are grateful. So I'm grateful for my partner. He slows down as he ages, Males do not live as long as females. I love him so much. I see that I preen him. I keep him clean. One day he can't move from the nest. He has died. I lay with him still, missing him. The children are all grown and gone now. It's time for me to make a new nest. It takes many days, and I sleep outside until it is finished. Something could kill me while I sleep without the protection of the nest, but I'm not worried about it. I have like no fear. I just exist and observe and accept. Like it's very like I don't think humans are this aware. You know, if we lost our husband and we lost our home, we're going to be really scared and freaking out, and this insect is like it'll be fine. Not worried about it. Just whatever comes comes. So it just shows you the awareness is just much higher. Um, I have made a small nest, enough for one female, enough for myself. If I had made a larger nest, that would have signaled that I was open to having a new mate. It is a different life without him, but the sun is still warm and the food is still good. So that's another thing too. It's um it's that bigger concept of surviving a loss and not just surviving it, still being able to find joy despite the big loss, still having gratitude for what is good despite the loss. So these are like, it's funny because it's a silly lifetime, right? But realistically, it's a 7D lifetime displaying 7D awareness that I don't think most of us or any of us maybe can demonstrate all of that. It's a lot. That's what we're working towards, right? We're on a 3D planet. We're trying to lift ourselves up and lift everyone else up. So, um I did get more. Do you want me to just okay. I'm gonna leave it here. I did talk to the same guide more, and I got another lifetime with him where we were in physical bodies. Well, we were in physical bodies when we were insects. We were in star being bodies. There we go. So just so you know, that planet that I just told you about, it's called Tolum. Tolum. Did I write it down? Yes, I did. It is part of the Andromedan constellation, the Andromedan galaxy. There we go. Got all my words mixed up today. It's part of the Andromedan galaxy, but they showed me another lifetime there that is involving that glass palace, that glass city, that glass dome that I saw off in the distance. So that's fascinating. So I'll make another video and tell you guys about that as well. So this is what I have for you guys now, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.